Era+Military Marriage+Favorite Wife+Tragedy+Blessed Wife+Lying flat and passively getting rich, Lin Nian is wearing a book. In a 1970s era novel, there is a cannon fodder tool man who was abused by his mother and stepfather's family while sucking blood, and was calculated by them to go to the countryside to marry a second-rate child. During pregnancy, he was abused by the second-rate child and died tragically. Her role is to use her tragic death as a stepping stone to help the female protagonist gain valuable wealth and connections, and reach the pinnacle of her life. I can't bear it. Lin Nian rolled his sleeve, tore off his blood-sucking mother, kicked his scumbag stepsister, and scratched the dignified face of his stepfather. Greedy for the huge amount of support her father gave her. Spit it out for her. Want to seize the mansion left for her by her biological father. Understand the crime of fraud. The property and connections taken away by the female lead. Sorry, sister has arrived, it's all sisters. While abusing the scum, it didn't delay Lin Nian's teasing of the Han. However, after teasing her, she realized that this invincible handsome brother with abstinence was actually the ultimate villain. I can't afford it. Go, go, go. Unexpectedly, the villain in the book caught her back and blocked her in the corner of the wall. Her phoenix eyes lightly lifted and her thin lips slightly hooked, saying, "Little scammer, want to run, next life." Lin Nian. Chapter 1. Wearing Gunpowder. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You dead girl, isn't that why you went to the countryside on behalf of Lily? How dare you go and seek death? Where do you want me and your Uncle Huang's face to be? Those who are sensible should quickly go to the youth education office to sign, otherwise don't blame me for not remembering the love between mother and daughter. To be honest, you jumped into the river in shame because you miss men and can't attract them. In the cramped, dark and smelly miscellaneous room, Lin Nian lay in bed listening to the mother of the original owner, Zhang Cuifang, cursing incessantly. Lin Nian sighed a lot in her heart. She thought she had died in the shipwreck, but ended up in a book she had read and became cannon fodder with the same name and surname. The crossing location was in the river, and she couldn't swim. She almost drowned when crossing, but fortunately someone saved her. The person who saved her is called Zhang Haiyang, the male lead in the book. And the original protagonist Lin Nian is just a criminal evidence for the future male and female protagonists to punish the malicious supporting actress Huang Lily. Lin Nian was forced to go to the countryside instead of her stepsister Huang Lily, but she was hated by Huang Lily because Zhang Haiyang saved her. Huang Lily bribed a rural scoundrel to insult Lin Nian and forced him to marry him as his wife. He was then tortured to death by the scoundrel. Perhaps to highlight Huang Lily's malice, Lin Nian's life after going to the countryside was particularly miserable, and he died quite tragically. Lin Nian shook her head and sat up from the bed, weakly leaning against the pillow, interrupting Zhang Cuifang's incessant verbal abuse. Mom, I agree to go to the countryside. But I have the condition, you give me 500 yuan and I will buy my own things for going to the countryside. She is a traveler who must stay away from the city where her original owner has lived for over a decade, otherwise her sudden personality change will be too eye-catching. In this era, being eye-catching is not a good thing. Be careful. In 1977, Go resumed the college entrance examination and then left the countryside to return to the city she was familiar with. Anyway, get the money first. By the way, avenge the original owner. 500. Why don't you go grab it? 500 yuan is a huge sum in 7 or 3 years. Zhang Cuifang couldn't believe her ears. Lin Nian, this dead girl, really dares to speak up. She had heard Lin Nian say she was willing to go to the countryside, so her anger extinguished a bit. But when she heard Lin Nian say she wanted 500 yuan, she immediately exploded and raised her hand to pinch Lin Nian's face. Lin Nian didn't hide. Zhang Cuifang hit hard, causing Lin Nian to burst into tears in pain. You dead girl, I see you owe me a beating. When Zhang Cuifang was about to pinch her second time, Lin Nian grabbed her wrist and said coldly, "Mom, if it's not big enough, I'll go die. I have all died once before. Barefoot people are not afraid of wearing shoes. If you don't give me this money, then I won't go to the countryside or go find Director Wang. I believe the old director is willing to lend me money for my father's sake." Zhang Cuifang was stunned. Lin Nian in front of her was quite unfamiliar to her. Is this still her submissive daughter, like a quail? Lin Nian curled her lips and smiled at Zhang Cuifang, saying, "I borrowed money from the old factory director. I'll go find my dad's former colleagues and borrow them one by one. I can always borrow enough money." Zhang Cuifang suddenly shook off Lin Nian's hand and slapped her face, causing Lin Nian's face to swell immediately. She was really angry and said, "How dare you? If Lin Nian really goes to find the old factory director and her biological father's colleague, her face as Zhang Cuifang will have nowhere to hide. Do you dare me? Why don't we give it a try?" Lin Nian, with a swollen face, looked straight into Zhang Cuifang's eyes without blinking or avoiding. Of course Zhang Cuifang dare not try. She dare not let Lin Nian go to find the old factory director, because over the years she has been using Lin Nian's banner to seek benefits from the old factory director. If Lin Nian goes to find the old factory director for living expenses in the countryside, then it's a bad thing. Lin Nian saw that Zhang Cuifang was not speaking, so she chuckled and said, "Mom, going to the countryside is a lifelong thing. I will stay in the countryside and never come back again. 500 yuan to buy me for a lifetime is not excessive at all." Zhang Cuifang could only grit her teeth and agree, "I won't be able to take out 500 yuan for a while. When you go to the countryside, I'll have enough to give it to you." She dragged on until the dead girl signed the letter to go to the countryside. She locked her up at home, and when she went to the countryside, she twisted her into the car, not giving her a chance to find the old factory director. Lin Nian hesitated for a moment and said, "Give me 300 first, otherwise you'll kill me." Zhang Cuifang really wants to kill her. However, it cannot. "I can only go back to the house to get money for Lin Nian and throw it on her. I really owe you in my previous life. An unfilial thing would have drowned you in the toilet if it had given birth to you." After receiving 300 yuan, Lin Nian ignored Zhang Cuifang anymore. When Zhang Cuifang scolded and left, she stood up and changed her clothes, hiding the money. Just as she had hidden the money, her stepsister Huang Lili kicked open the door and angrily rushed towards Lin Nian. Lin Nian dodged, and Huang Lili bumped into Lin Nian's door panel and screamed in pain. When she regained her composure, she cursed at Lin Nian and said, "Lin Nian, you slut. How dare you seduce Ocean Brother? I'll fight with you." Lin Nian smiled at her, then messed up her hair in front of her, crumpled her clothes, pulled off 2 buttons, and rolled around on the ground. Then, in Huang Lili's bewildered gaze, she suddenly rushed out. "Mom, sister, I was wrong. I promised to go to the countryside on my sister's behalf. Don't hit me, please," she cried while rushing. Huang Lili chased after her and said, "Lin Nian, you slut, stop me. Do you think I'll kill you today? You naughty fox, who do you want to run out and seduce? I'm going to the countryside now and still restless. It's so itchy. There's no shortage of cucumbers and eggplants at home. You little slut, come back quickly and see how I'm dealing with you. Every day, it doesn't stop at all." Huang Lili and Zhang Cuifang chased after each other, while Lin Nian stumbled and ran out, and the neighbors all ran out to look. Listening to Huang Lili's vulgar language, the neighbors all pointed at her and sympathized deeply with Lin Nian. "Don't hit me." Lin Nian was disheveled, with a swollen face. Looking back at Zhang Cuifang and Huang Lili, they were ferocious, especially Huang Lili, with a look of wanting to eat Lin Nian, which was quite frightening. Bang! Suddenly, Lin Nian bumped into a military green figure. She was about to fall when he reached out and grabbed her. Be careful. The young man waited for Lin Nian to stand firm before releasing his hand and retreating to the side. Thank you. Lin Nian didn't see the person clearly and hurriedly said thank you. He panicked and turned his head to look at Zhang Cuifang and Huang Lili who were chasing after him, running out like crazy. The young man frowned slightly and chased her out. What are you doing? At this moment, the stepfather of the original owner, Huang Jiangwo, stopped Huang Lili and Zhang Cuifang who were also chasing outside. Huang Jiangwo used to be an ordinary workshop worker under the father of the original owner, Lin Changzheng. Later, when news of Lin Changzheng's sacrifice came from a certain department, Zhang Cuifang quickly married Huang Jiangwo, who had lost his wife and struggled with his son and daughter. Dad! Old Huang! Huang Lili panicked when she saw Huang Jiangwo with a gloomy face. It was all caused by Lin Nian, this slut. Dad, listen to me. I was wrongly accused. It was all Lin Nian, this dead girl, who falsely accused me. Zhang Cuifang, who chased after her, awkwardly smiled. She pulled Huang Lili apart and reached out to pull Huang Jiangwo's sleeve, saying, Old Huang, you're back. This is a misunderstanding. That girl Lin Nian intentionally. In the factory, because Huang Jiangwo married Zhang Cuifang and wanted to support the martyr's orphan Lin Nian, he was promoted from a worker's position to a cadre's position. In recent years, he has been promoted several levels and his salary has also increased by several sections. At present, he is the deputy director of the steel rolling branch of Red Star Machinery Factory. The old director is about to retire, and Huang Jiangwo and another deputy director, Zhao Xingli, are competing for the position of director. The opinion of Mr. Zhang, the director of the factory, carries a lot of weight as to who will attend in the end. But right at this critical moment, his wife and daughter actually made a scene of publicly bullying Lin Nian, which dragged him down. Huang Jiangwo had a gloomy face and glared fiercely at Huang Lili and Zhang Cuifang. He pointed his fingers at them and angrily said, Don't go back now. It's embarrassing. Chapter 2. Proactively going to the countryside. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Fu Qiushi followed Lin Nian onto a bus and got off near the cultural palace. He then stood behind her, watching her struggle to distinguish directions and carefully examine each street sign. Obviously, he was not very familiar with this area. Captain Yang Dongliang of the technical support team knew that his task in Rongqing had been completed, so he called him before he returned and asked him to take a look at Lin Nian. Yang Dongliang has been wanting to come and see Lin Nian for years, but the task is heavy and he has never taken his time. Every month, he asks the security guards to help send money and tickets to Lin Nian. I also asked someone to inquire about Lin Nian's news, and the news came that he could eat enough and wear warm clothes, and his life was okay. Yang Dongliang always feels uneasy. The standard of eating and dressing warmly is too low. Lao Lin's daughter should eat and dress well, and grow up happily and happily. But he is really too busy, and his residence is far from Rongqing. When he can't make room, he comes to Rongqing to take a look in person. Therefore, when I heard that Fu Qiushi, a military king from the background of a scout, had completed his mission in Rongqing, I approached him. Yang Dongliang wants to know if Lin Nian is doing well after Zhang Cuifang remarries. Another way is to ask Fu Qiushi to give her a few words. Fu Qiushi felt a bit wrong following along. Why did Lin Nian become more familiar with the place he was going to? Lin Nian didn't know she was being followed. She came here to find someone capable. This person's name is Lu Yongnan, nicknamed Huoyazi. He has a missing front tooth and is a certified craftsman. The female protagonist in the book had to carry several introduction letters with him in order to facilitate her to travel around and use space to make money. Fortunately, the description of Huoyazi's residence in the book is very detailed. Lin Nianhui paid attention to finding the iconic scene and quickly found the right place. I went up and knocked on the door in a few long and short bursts. It took me a while before the door opened. The person inside looked through the crack and asked, "Who are you looking for?" "Lin Nian. Uncle San asked me to come. This is a secret code." "Uncle San is not here, do you want to come in and wait?" the other person asked. Lin Nian nodded and said, "Excuse me then." The secret code matched, and Lin Nian was allowed to enter the door. He then leaned out and looked left and right before closing the courtyard door. The small courtyard is very messy, piled up with debris, emitting an indescribable odor. The young man who brought her to the hospital was tall and thin, with delicate facial features and a sickly white melon seed face. Unfortunately, there was a long scar on her cheek, which severely damaged her beauty. If he didn't have this scar on his face, his appearance would make countless women jealous. Huoyazi took her into the main room and pushed open the door of the adjacent room. In the dimly lit room, there is a huge writing desk filled with tools. The only bright spot in the entire room is the writing desk, illuminated by 3 desk lamps. "What do you want to do?" "Write it down." After sitting down at the writing desk, Huoyazi lifted his eyelids and glanced at Lin Nian before throwing a small notebook and a pencil at her. Lin Nian continued with both hands and looked left and right. There was an empty chair next to the writing desk, so she sat over and buried her head in writing. "I need to make a property certificate, a martyr's certificate, and a household registration book." Huoyazi raised his eyebrows and glanced at Lin Nian. He said, 300. "Give me the money first. After giving the money, go to the main room and wait." "All right, I'll call you." 300. It's really expensive, just like an ordinary worker's annual salary. Lin Nian was amazed, but she only had to give money. She was afraid that someone would drive her out of the bargain, so it would be more than worth the loss. "Then I'll trouble you." The 300 yuan I just received was gone like this. But Lin Nian doesn't feel any pain at all. The original owner's household registration book has always been under the control of Zhang Cuifang. If Lin Nian wants to cause trouble, he must obtain the household registration book. As for the property certificate, it is also a real thing. The original owner's biological father left an old house for the original owner. This house was left by the original owner's grandfather in the past, and because his father was later transferred from the eastern province to work in Rongcheng, this house was given to his father. After the original owner went to the countryside, Zhang Cuifang asked Huang Lili to impersonate her and go to the Housing Management Bureau to sign the procedures for changing the name and transferring ownership. This house became Zhang Cuifang's, and later on, Zhang Cuifang gave it to her son Huang Hongwei, who was born with Huang Jiangwo, and it became Huang Hongwei's wedding house. The original owner, this mother, squeezed the original owner clean and without leaving a drop of blood. It is also because of this that the father of the original owner, who had fled, returned home after completing his mission and making contributions. Only after learning about his daughter's tragic situation did he express his gratitude in tears to the female lead who helped her seek revenge, and took her as his adopted daughter, leaving all his property to her and paving the way for her in politics. The original female lead is really being exploited by one's own mother while alive, and being exploited by the female protagonist when dead. It's really miserable. Alright. Not long after, Fang Zi came out of the room and handed the things to Lin Nian. Lin Nian looked around and couldn't help but admire Huoyazi. This person even made things old, and there doesn't seem to be any sense of discord. It is completely possible to confuse falsehood with truth. Thank you. Lin Nian checked and found no mistakes, then quickly put away his things and said goodbye. Lin Nian took something and walked with his front foot, while Fu Qiushi walked into the small courtyard with his back foot. Upon seeing the newcomer, Huoyazi ran over with his eyes lit up and said, "Third brother. You're back. Third brother, let's have a good drink tonight. How are you in the team? Are you okay?" Fu Qiushi patted Huoya's shoulder and said with a smile, "I've been back for 2 days now. Do something and leave. By the way, what did that girl come to you for just now?" "No, third brother, you introduced someone to me." Why don't you know what she's doing? Asked Huiyazi in surprise. The secret code introduced by third brother is to find third uncle. Others introduced it, but it's another secret code. Fu Qiushi's eyes flashed with a hint of imperceptible darkness, and he smiled and said, I'm too embarrassed to ask her, so I came to ask you. Huiyazi went back to the house and gave Fu Qiushi a note left by Lin Nian, saying, she needs to apply for a household registration book, a martyr certificate, and a property certificate. Fu Qiushi scanned the contents of the note with 2 eyes, took out a match and burned it, then said to Huiya, don't tell anyone that she has come. Also, please stop this matter and destroy what needs to be destroyed. Huiyazi's face changed and he said, what's wrong? Is something wrong? Fu Qiushi said, the wind is tight, you may have missed it. There happened to be an old leader who was sent down, and I need you to go to the village where he was sent down and help me take care of him. I'll make up for your loss later. Upon hearing that it was this matter, Huiyazi breathed a sigh of relief and said, you can rest assured to leave this matter to us. They are all brothers, don't say anything about compensation. Fu Qiushi raised his fist and pounded his shoulder, saying with a smile, good brother. Later, I explained to him the place where the old leader had delegated power and asked him to go to the youth education office to register himself. I have something else to do, let's go first. Fu Qiushi said goodbye, and he had to go chase Lin Nian. This pursuit caught up with the educated youth office, and Fu Qiushi said, This girl is quite capable of making trouble. In the educated youth office, Lin Nian passionately said to the staff, Comrade, I am the daughter of martyr Lin Changsheng. I will respond to the call, inherit my father's lifelong wish to serve the people and contribute everything to the construction of the motherland, go to the countryside, and write a new chapter of youth in a broader world. The staff of the Youth Education Office love young intellectuals like Lin Nian who take the initiative to go to the countryside. If everyone takes the initiative, their work will be much easier to do. The staff warmly welcomed Lin Nian and said, Comrade, your ideological consciousness is good, and you are also a child of a martyr. You are truly a good comrade rooted in Miaohong. I need to report to the higher-ups well. Comrade Lin, with your kind of consciousness, you should promote and publicize it well. Chapter 3. Progressive Youth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Nian quickly waved his hand and said, No, don't promote me. I am secretly going to the countryside. If my elders find out, I will definitely come to the educated youth to cause trouble. After all, there is a policy above that the only child of the martyr does not need to go to the countryside. The clerk understood immediately upon hearing this and quickly sat down, saying, Yes, you're right, then we won't promote it. I'll handle the procedures for you now. Comrade Lin, do you have any requirements for places going to the countryside? Children of martyrs like you can be treated with preferential treatment according to policies. We need to arrange a good place for people, so that when the little girl's family comes to find her, he also has a reason. Lin Nian smiled and said, I want to go to the 2nd Group of the 8th Brigade in Hongqing Township, Dongyang County, East Province to cut in. To be honest with you, my father's family is still there. He has been looking for an opportunity to go back and fulfill his filial piety, but... At this point, Lin Nian shed tears and choked up, saying, This is my selfishness. I want to take care of my grandmother for my dad. Of course, if it's not easy to arrange, I won't force it. I'll follow the organization's arrangements. The clerk smiled and said, This is not a difficult task, I'll arrange it for you. The eastern province is far and cold, and few people are willing to go. Anyone who is assigned there will try their best to change places. Unexpectedly, Lin Nian took the initiative to go there. He was afraid that Lin Nian would go back on his word, so he quickly completed the procedures and opened all the introduction letters for Lin Nian. 5 days later, gather here at 8 o'clock in the morning and set off. Don't forget the time. Lin Nian put away his things and thanked the clerk, Thank you very much, comrade. She went to the countryside as the only daughter of a martyr, instead of replacing Huang Lily, so Huang Lily couldn't escape her fate of going to the countryside. When she left, she patted her buttocks and left a mess for Zhang Cuifang. Let's see if she can still live a good life with Huang Jiangwo and if the Huang family can have a peaceful life. This is just the beginning. The Huang family owes the original owner everything, she needs to retrieve it all before going to the countryside. Lin Nian left the educated youth office and headed straight to another residential area of the Red Star Machinery Factory. Zhao Xingli, who is competing with Huang Jiangwo for the position of director of the steel rolling plant, lives here. Lin Nian and his wife Lu Guixiang, who is the wife of Huang Jiangwo, must pass through on their way home after work. Lu Guixiang is from the Women's Federation of the General Factory and does not deal with Zhang Cuifang. It's already noon, the sun is shining brightly in the sky, making people dizzy. Lin Nian is hungry. Unfortunately, I have no money left on me and can only swallow my saliva and endure it. It was easy to wait for Lu Guixiang to ride her bicycle back, and Lin Nian quickly ran out of the shade of the tree and shouted at her, Lu's secretary. When Lu Guixiang heard the shout, she pressed the brake and got off her bike to let her companions go first. She pushed her bike towards Lin Nian. Isn't this Lin Nian? I heard you fell into the river, and it was the ocean that brought you up. I also said to organize a few Women's Federation officials to come and see you. Lu Guixiang said as she looked at Lin Nian. I saw purple marks on the little girl's face, and I don't know if it was beaten or pinched. Her clothes didn't fit well and were patched. Her eyes were also red, indicating that she had cried before. She used to look for this girl privately before, but no matter how much she tried to coax her, she wouldn't say anything wrong about Zhang Cuifang and Huang Jiangwo. She always said in her mouth, my mother and Uncle Huang are good to me. If it weren't for Uncle Huang, I might have starved to death. These are the words that come and go. Recalling the past Lin Nian, Lu Guixiang couldn't help but wonder, how could Lin Nian suddenly come to find her? Thank you, Director Lu, for your concern. I would like to talk to Director Zhao about something. I don't know what to do, but I would like to ask Director Lu and Director Zhao to help me. Speaking of which, Lin Nian shed tears again. Lu Guixiang quickly took out her handkerchief and handed it to her. Wipe your tears quickly and tell Aunt Lu to go home. Lin Nian took the handkerchief, whispered gratitude to Lu Guixiang, and then sat on the back seat of her bicycle, following her to the Zhao family. Come in and sit down, take a sip of water first. Uncle Zhao will be back soon. You'll be eating at my house in a while. Lu Guixiang warmly greeted Lin Nian. Seeing Lin Nian like this, it's probably a big deal. She vaguely felt that there was a breakthrough in the matter of their old Zhao family from the little girl Lin Nian. Lu Guixiang heard Lin Nian's stomach rumbling. She quickly cooked a bowl of noodles for Lin Nian and even lay down an egg. You can take a bite of the mat first. We'll have dinner together when Uncle Zhao comes back later. Lin Nian quickly declined, Director Lu, how could I be so embarrassed? How could I? Lu Guixiang smiled and said, call me Aunt Lu. I hugged you when you were a child. Eat quickly, don't be polite to Aunt Lu. Lin Nian apologized awkwardly, thank you, Aunt Lu. She was really hungry. When she was at the Huang family, she didn't have enough to eat, only leftovers from the family. Seeing Lin Nian eating well, Lu Guixiang sat next to her and nagged, look at how thin you are, eat more. I asked your mother if she didn't give you enough to eat, and she said you have a kitten's appetite and are very picky about food. You don't eat this or that. Nian Nian, being picky about food is not good. We don't appreciate the flaws of Miss Capitalist. Lin Nian finished the noodles and drank all the soup. She could hear what Lu Guixiang meant, just trying to trick her. It's just a matter of mutual utilization, Lin Nian understands in his heart. She imitated the cowardly appearance of the original owner and whispered, no. I'm not picky about food. Lu Guixiang was very satisfied with this answer, and she smiled and said, Aunt Lu can see that we are good children and don't play the capitalist miss style. Your mother is really, I didn't know that talking about you outside like this would ruin your reputation. As soon as she finished speaking, the sound of opening the door came from outside. Lu Guixiang quickly went to greet Zhao Xingli and took the bag from his hand, saying, Old Zhao, Lin Nian is here. She has something to do with you. After speaking, she gave a glance in the direction of Lin Nian. Lin Nian stood awkwardly, bowing to Zhao Xingli and saying, Hello Uncle Zhao. The helpless appearance makes people feel pitiful when they look at it. Oh, it's recitation. Hello, hello. Hurry up and sit down. Don't be polite to come to Uncle Zhao's house. Your father and I used to be good friends and brothers. Lin Nian lowered his head and sat down, while Zhao Xingli sat opposite her. He asked, Nian Nian, what's wrong with your face? Did anyone bully you? Lin Nian stood up nervously and shook her head vigorously, No. Sister didn't bully me. The whole person looks like a panicked rabbit. It's me. I accidentally fell it myself. Zhao Xingli and his wife looked at each other, and it was because they had been beaten by Huang Lili. Okay, Uncle Zhao just wanted to ask, as long as no one bullies you. Aunt Lu said you have something to do with me. Can you tell Uncle Zhao what's going on? Lin Nian looked down at her toes, her hands tightly tugging at the corners of her clothes. She seemed to be struggling and didn't know how to speak. Chapter 4. Whom do we owe? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhao Xingli and his wife didn't urge her, and Lu Guixiang went into the kitchen to cook. Lin Nian hesitated for a long time before whispering, Since I was young, my mother has told me that when my dad died, she couldn't support me. I ate Uncle Huang's and used Uncle Huang's. Uncle Zhao, I would like to ask you to help me check at the post office. Has a comrade named Yang Dongliang been sending my mother my living expenses every month since the year my father sacrificed himself? I need to figure out who I owe. Lin Nian's mosquito-like sound fell into Zhao Xingli's ears but exploded like a loud explosion. Everyone in the factory knows that Huang Jiangwo raised Lin Nian, the daughter of martyr Lin Changzheng, and it was only after the old factory director made an exception to promote him as a cadre. In this way, his monthly salary will be higher. The extra part for forest cultivation is enough. But what if someone has been sending Lin Nian's child support for so many years? What face does Huang Jiangwo have to say that he raised Lin Nian? Zhao Xingli thinks this is a good opportunity. He quickly asked Lin Nian, How did you know? Lin Nian still hung her head and said, My mother comes home a few days early every month, waiting for the postman to come. Once, when the postman came, she had diarrhea, and the postman gave me the money order and letter. I saw the content written on the remittance slip. After reading it, I didn't know what to do, so I put the letter and remittance slip under the crack in the door and hid out. This excuse is fabricated, and Lin Nian knew it, of course, because it is written like this in the book. Uncle Zhao, I've been thinking for a long time, I don't know who to turn to for help, and I dare not tell anyone. You child, you came to find Uncle Zhao. Lu Guixiang walked out of the kitchen, pulled Lin Nian into her arms, and patted her back, saying, as the saying goes, with a stepmother, there is a stepfather. In fact, the opposite is also true. With a stepfather and mother, one can also become a stepmother. After all, your mother gave birth to a son with Huang Jiangwo again, and you became redundant in that family. You silly child, do you think Aunt Lu can tell without you saying it? You child is just too kind. From now on, remember one sentence. People are good at being bullied, horses are good at being ridden. Lin Nian cried loudly in her arms as if she had touched her heart. Lu Guixiang waited for her to cry for a while before continuing to provoke and provoke, saying, After your father sacrificed himself, his position was reserved for you. Your mother held you to the old factory director and said that you were still young. Your uncle Zhang Ganmei took over the position as a worker and will return it to you when you grow up. Nian Nian, tell Aunt Lu honestly, don't you want to go to the countryside? If you don't want to go to the countryside, Aunt Lu will make the decision for you. It is true that Lu Guixiang wants to help Lin Nian, but her own selfish intentions also account for the majority. After all, it has brought down Zhang Cuifang and his wife, and the matter of Lao Zhao becoming the director of the steel rolling plant is a nail in the nail. Lin Nian shook her head and choked up, saying, Aunt Lu, I have already registered to go to the countryside. I registered before coming. I'll be leaving in 5 days, so I'm in a hurry to find Uncle Zhao. Lin Nian paused and said as if he had made up his mind. My mom said that Uncle Huang is in charge of everything I eat and drink. It's not easy for them to raise me so much, so they won't give me money when I go to the countryside. Zhao Xingli patted the table upon hearing this and said, What? I won't give you money when I go to the countryside. This is too much. Life in the countryside is so difficult. How can you live without money? The couple did have the intention of using Lin Nian, but they couldn't help but get angry when Lin Nian said these things. Wait, Uncle Zhao will find someone to investigate for you. Lu Guixiang's younger brother works at the post office, and Zhao Xingli can't even afford to eat. He said to Lu Guixiang, I'll take your leave. Don't go to work this afternoon, just take care of Lin Nian at home. Okay, hurry up on this matter. Lu Guixiang sent Zhao Xingli out and turned back to open a can for Lin Nian. Eat quickly, you're good to replenish. Nian Nian listen to Aunt Lu's advice. You can't just settle for work like this. If you go to the countryside, you won't be able to return to the city for the rest of your life. If you don't have some money in hand, how can you do it? Listen to Aunt Lu, sell your job, grab some money, and live a comfortable life in the countryside. You haven't been to the countryside before, I don't know how powerful this is. Your mother, she's lying to you. After Lu Guixiang's strong persuasion, Lin Nian finally reluctantly agreed to sell her job, but she only came forward to sign and had to do it on the day she left. Another thing is that she doesn't want money, as long as she has a nationwide ticket. Lu Guixiang was extremely happy and patted her chest to ensure that Lin Nian didn't have to worry about it. She helped Lin Nian complete the entire process. Just kidding, there are many private employees willing to take formal positions in key state-owned enterprises. This indicator is in your hands, giving everyone adult affection. Lin Nian only has 5 days left, otherwise she wouldn't just rely on Zhao Xingli and his wife to use each other. It is better to give more people a favor. Who knows if Zhao Xingli and his wife will cross the river and demolish the bridge. But even if Zhao Xingli and his wife dare to cross the river and demolish the bridge, Lin Nian still has a plan waiting for her. She likes to eat more things, but she doesn't like to suffer losses. After agreeing on the job, Lin Nian said goodbye. After leaving for a few moments, Lu Guixiang sent Lin Nian away and began to ponder Zhang Ganmei's job. Who is good to give to and who can help Lao Zhao? When Lin Nian ran out of money, he didn't go out for a stroll and went straight home. At this moment, Huang Jiangwo also went home. As soon as he entered the family courtyard, he was stopped by a neighbor and told him about Huang Lili and Zhang Cuifang's pursuit of Lin Nian in the morning. Finally, it was mentioned. Zhang Haiyang, the grandson of factory director Zhang, came on a trip later and his face turned black when he saw this departure. Lin Nian also ran away, I don't know where he went. Upon hearing these words, Huang Jiangwo was completely upset. He saw a little bit of it when he returned home, and then hurriedly chased after director Zhang. Now, being pulled by his neighbors to say it again, Huang Jiangwo felt extremely embarrassed. Now is the crucial time to compete with Zhao Xingli for the position of factory director in the branch factory. Zhang Cuifang, this idiot, doesn't know how to help and hold him back. Huang Jiangwo thanked the person and hurried home. The family members pointed at his back, and the gossiping gazes made Huang Jianguo feel extremely embarrassed and couldn't help but accelerate his pace. As soon as she entered the house, Huang Lili ran to him and told Lin Nian, "Dad, that little slut Lin Nian has hard wings and dares to bully me. Dad, you have to make the decision for me. Go tell the person in charge of the Educated Youth Office to assign her to the hardest and most tiring place, where birds don't lay eggs and there is no food to eat. Marry her to old Light Stick and make her unable to turn over for the rest of her life." Huang Lili said fiercely, "Her father has returned, and with his level of love for her, he will definitely punish Lin Nian as hard as she wishes. Does the dead girl think that playing some tricks can make her suffer? I'm thinking of farting." Zhang Guixiang also chimed in, "Yes, Lao Huang. Lin Nian, this girl, is becoming more and more disrespectful. She jumped into the river once and, relying on her relationship with Zhang Haiyang, her heart became wild. She doesn't even take my mother seriously and must be taught a lesson." Chapter 5. Dead Girl Changes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huang Jianguo's face became increasingly ugly, and Huang Lili and Zhang Cuifang knew that he was really angry. So the two of them worked even harder to tell Lin Nian, and Huang Jianguo became increasingly angry as he listened. He couldn't bear it anymore, so he raised his hand and slapped Huang Lili and Zhang Cuifang in the face. His face was frighteningly black, and his gaze was extremely fierce. Huang Lili and Zhang Cuifang were both frightened. No, shouldn't he go clean up Lin Nian? Why hit them? It is true that I am ignorant and aggrieved. Did I remind you that it's all right to close the door at home, and you have to show me a kind mother and filial piety outside? Sisters love each other. Huang Lili cried and explained, "Dad, it's not my fault. It was Lin Nian, that slut, who intentionally." "Shut up." Huang Jianguo suppressed his voice and roared, "Success is not enough, failure is more than enough. If the matter of me becoming the factory director goes wrong, you can also send me to the countryside." When did Huang Lili suffer such injustice? This was also her first time being beaten by Huang Jianguo, and her face was burning with pain. Just touching it revealed that her face was swollen. She couldn't believe it. Even though Lin Nian was causing trouble, why didn't her father deal with Lin Nian and instead beat her? Huang Lili couldn't accept this fact and ran back to her room, lying on the bed and crying uncontrollably. What a wicked door. Why did Lin Nian, that dead girl, suddenly play with her wrist? She has never been so wronged since she was so old. I haven't suffered such a big loss before. Zhang Cuifang didn't expect Huang Jianguo to hit her either. But this slap also sobered her up. The most important thing now is that Huang Jianguo competes for the factory director. So, what should we do? Zhang Cuifang rubbed her face and asked Huang Jianguo with great concern. She never expected that the timid girl who looked like a quail would dare to run out and shout. Lin Nian, this girl, fell into the water and seemed to have changed her personality. I don't know if it's due to evil. She thought so, and just told Huang Jianguo about it. She also mentioned that Lin Nian asked her for 500 yuan and she gave her 300 yuan. Huang Jianguo said irritably, "If she wants you, just give it to her. You have to coax her before she goes to the countryside. Go buy a chicken and stew soup for Lin Nian tonight. Serve her well, and in a few days, when her facial injury is healed, take her to Director Zhang's house to express gratitude and ask her to tell him in person that today's incident was a misunderstanding. She insulted Lily first. We must dispel the old factory director's suspicion." Buying chicken. Zhang Cuifang was reluctant to part with it, but when Huang Jianguo glanced at her, she became hesitant. Not only do we need to buy chicken, but we also need to make her some dishes she loves. In just a few days, you have to pack it for me too. After Huang Jianguo finished speaking, he brushed his sleeves and left. He had to first seek an explanation from factory director Zhang. Lin Nian felt that with the morning one, as long as her stepfather Huang Jiangwo was not foolish, he would definitely let Zhang Cuifang coax her. Hey, you guessed it right. As soon as she returned, Zhang Cuifang changed her attitude towards the original owner, which was not about nose, eyes, or eyes. She became extremely enthusiastic when she came up. Lin Nian mercilessly exposed Zhang Cuifang and said, "Ms. Zhang, can't we stop acting? How tired is it to act and act? If you give me what I want, I'll go to the countryside obediently." Lin Nian doesn't even want to use the word comrade on Zhang Cuifang, she doesn't deserve it. Don't bargain with me. Before going to the countryside, I will obediently cooperate with you to visit Director Zhang's house, even the old factory director's house. I can also go there. The smile on Zhang Cuifang's face was forcefully broken by Lin Nian. After Lin Nian finished speaking, he bent down to take an apple, went to the kitchen to wash it clean, and opened his mouth to nibble on it. It is written in the book that before Lin Nian turned 5, there was a person named Yang Dongliang who sent 30 yuan and some national tickets every month. After the age of 5, the price increases every year. By the time the original owner went to the countryside, Yang Dongliang had already sent Lin Nian as much as 70 yuan per month. Zhang Cuifang holds this money in her hand, and with her own salary, her income is higher than that of the deputy factory director Huang Jiangwo. Having money and tickets on hand, our family should not live too carefree every month. It's rare for others to see meat foam every 10.5 days, while the Huang family can eat meat and fish every 3 to 5 days. Other people's fruits are rare, but Huang's fruits are often available. Another thing is their family's clothes, which are basically discarded and bought new when they are 80% new. However, these good things have nothing to do with Lin Nian. Not to mention eating them, she would be scolded just by looking at them again. Huang Lily's favorite thing to say is, "You don't even take care of yourself by peeing. You're just a drag on the cake, and the person who flatters me at home deserves to eat it." Not starving to death is the greatest kindness of our Huang family to you. Even if you die, you won't be able to repay your nurturing kindness. At this moment, Lin Nian was gnawing on the apple in front of Zhang Cuifang, feeling a lot of sourness in his heart. "Oh, my lord," the little girl held back for more than 10 years. "But I don't know, it's not that she owes the Huang family, but that the entire Huang family owes her." Lin Nian walked onto the sofa and sat down confidently, nibbling on an apple while saying her request. "Firstly, Huang Lily must kneel down and apologize to me in front of the whole family." Lin Nian. Don't be shameless. Just as Lin Nian finished speaking, Zhang Cuifang furrowed her hair and pointed at her with a fierce expression, cursing loudly. Lin Nian smiled and said, "I have said the conditions, whether you agree or not is up to you. Secondly, immediately give me the remaining 200 yuan. Thirdly, these days at home, I want to eat, dress, and drink well. Ms. Zhang Cuifang, I don't mind wearing this outfit and strolling around with this swollen face, and then sitting at Mr. Wang's home at the main factory and Mr. Zhang's home at the steel rolling plant." Lin Nian spoke slowly, thinking to himself that the apples at this time are really sweet. She needs to eat more. By the way, the sleeping area also needs to be changed. I want to sleep in Huang Lily's room. Zhang Cuifang was stunned and couldn't believe her ears. How could Lin Nian dare? How dare this dead girl? She couldn't help but raise her hand and fiercely fan towards Lin Nian. Lin Nian's gaze instantly became cold. She stood up and grabbed Zhang Cuifang's hand, staring coldly at her. "Ms. Zhang Cuifang, the former Lin Nian has already died," she said, "die in the cold and icy river water. Lin Nian, who is barefoot now, is not afraid of wearing shoes. He doesn't mind being caught in a trap with you, after all. No matter how bad it is, that's all. Where else can it be worse?" She suddenly did this, scaring Zhang Cuifang. The little girl in front of her felt very unfamiliar to her. Could it be? Could it be said? Seeing her face showing fear, Lin Nian leaned in her ear and gently bewitched her, "You guessed it right, so should we go find a goddess to ward off evil?" Shinpa is a feudal superstition, and even if Lin Nian gives Zhang Cuifang 100 courage, she dare not invite Shinpa. Engaging in feudal superstition means being sent to labor reform. With Lin Nian's intimidation, Zhang Cuifang felt a chill all over her body, and her hair stood on end in an instant. "Give me some money." Lin Nian patted Zhang Cuifang's shoulder. "If I don't pay, I'll go outside and cry, saying you hit me. The shameless will never be defeated by the shameless." So the original owner couldn't resist Zhang Cuifang, and Zhang Cuifang couldn't resist the current Lin Nian. Zhang Cuifang gave all the change on her body to Lin Nian, and it wasn't until Lin Nian left for a long time that she regained her senses. "Lin Nian, it's not her daughter." "No. No, she needs to go find Lao Huang and tell him to find a way." Chapter 6. Progressive comrades are so busy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Nian came out of the Huang family and went to take the bus. She had to go to the Housing Management Bureau. This house must be preserved no matter what, it cannot be cheaper than Zhang Cuifang. Lin Nian rushed to the Housing Management Bureau, where there were 2 storefronts the size of an office open to the public. Inside, counters made up of old desks were arranged in a straight line, with a few staff members sitting sporadically behind them. There are also many people coming to handle matters. Lin Nian stood in line in a sparsely populated area, and when it was her turn, she loudly said to the staff, "Comrade, I have an empty house and I want to lend it to the Housing Management Bureau for 5 years free of charge to help families of military martyrs who are facing housing difficulties overcome difficulties." She shook everyone as soon as she spoke. House resources are very scarce. This little girl is also too foolish. Bah. Her consciousness is also a bit too high. Little girl, do you think this is a big deal? Do your adults know? Lin Nian lifted his head with a proud expression and said, "Comrade, I am already 16 years old and can start working now. I can make my own decisions about this matter. My father is a martyr, so I want to inherit his desire to serve the people and help those in need. Although my strength is small, great people have also said. A single spark can start a prairie fire. I don't lack a place to live now, and this house is also empty. I can lend it to you to help the families of military martyrs who are facing housing difficulties, so that this house can realize its maximum value. But I'm not completely selfless either. I'm definitely going to get married in 5 years. When I get married, I have to get this house back, otherwise my lover and I won't have a place to sleep." The clerk couldn't handle this on his own, so he went and invited their director out. "Director Gu, it's Comrade Lin Nian who wants to lend his house to the Housing Management Bureau for free. The Housing Management Bureau has a big culprit. Pooh. A girl with high consciousness, so much so that after a while, many people from other offices also came to see Lin Nian. Let's see what such a highly conscious person looks like." The small office was packed with people in no time. Fu Qiushi, who had been following him all the way, looked at Lin Nian standing in the center of people's attention. Although the little girl had a swollen face, her clothes were patched and very ill-fitting. Even so, she stood there shining brightly like a small sun. When she was in the family courtyard in the morning, she was so embarrassed that after being bullied, she looked like a panicked little cat. As a result, when I turned around and got on the bus, I dared to go alone to the cultural palace to look for Huiyazi. He was very bold and still used his banner. Although the children of the martyrs did not need to go to the countryside to suffer, she was still willing to take the initiative to go to the countryside. At this moment, she came to the Housing Management Bureau again to lend out the house. It may sound righteous, but Fu Qiushi felt that the little girl was calculating something. Originally, Fu Qiushi only agreed to his grandfather's student and came to see this little girl with a mindset of completing the task. But now, he has his own thoughts of exploration. I want to see how many faces this interesting little girl has and how many surprises she can bring him. And he also wanted to know where this little girl came from, and where she came from to know his flag. Okay. The little girl said it well. Director Gu walked up to Lin Nian and reached out to her. Lin Nian quickly grabbed his hand and shook it solemnly twice, saying, "Continuing my father's wish to serve the people is what children should do." The comrade who received Lin Nian said to the client Ren, "Director Gu, I just checked Comrade Lin Nian's house. This house is relatively large and located in the city center. If divided, it can accommodate 2 households of 7 or 8 people. It was indeed empty before." Director Gu smiled and asked Lin Nian, "Comrade Xiaolin, why did you think of lending out this house for free now?" Lin Nian said awkwardly, "Didn't my mother disagree before? Now that I'm 16 years old, I can make my own decisions, so I'm here." Director Gu raised an eyebrow and said, "So, did you make a decision without your mother's consent?" Lin Nian looked puzzled and blinked in confusion. "Ah. I'm already 16, can't I make my own decisions? This is my house. Isn't there a regulation in the country that allows me to join the military and work at the age of 16? Why do I still need elders to influence my thoughts when I'm 16? Director Gu was a bit overwhelmed by Lin Nian's question and said, "This. But for such a big matter, it's better to discuss it with your mother." Lin Nian stubbornly said, "There's no point in discussing it. This house will continue to be empty, and in this way, at least 2 families of martyrs will not be able to solve their housing problems for 5 years. My father is a martyr, and I can understand the various difficulties faced by the families of martyrs very well, so I just want to make life slightly easier for 1 or 2 families of martyrs with housing difficulties. Is Director Gu unwilling to let me fulfill this little wish?" As she spoke, Lin Nian's smile disappeared, and a disappointed expression appeared on her still childish face. The little girl ran over with enthusiasm, but even though she wanted to do something good, she was rejected, which was a big blow. When the on-site staff saw her like this, they couldn't help but speak up and persuade her to go back and discuss with the mother, otherwise her mother would know about this later and it would affect the relationship between the mother and daughter. Lin Nian hung his head and stubbornly said, "I've thought about it. My mother knows that scolding me can only be done once, but 1 scolding can exchange for 2 martyr families having a shelter for 5 years. I think it's worth it. My mother is quite kind to me. I am the only bone and blood between her and my father, and also the only thought that my father has left in this world. She is just momentarily angry, but things have already become a thing, and she won't say anything more." After Lin Nian mentioned this, he looked up eagerly at Director Gu. Director Gu is also in a difficult situation. It's a good thing, but he's afraid that the family of the little girl will cause trouble later and turn the good thing into a bad one. Fu Qiushi gave Lin Nian a deep glance as he squeezed into the front row of the crowd and said to Director Gu, "Director Gu, if this matter complies with national laws and policies, I think the Housing Management Bureau should handle it according to normal procedures. This is a good thing." Lin Nian looked at Fu Qiushi in surprise. Suddenly, a young man appeared wearing a military green uniform, with a tall and straight figure, a cold and handsome face, and sharp eagle-like eyes with a subtle evil charm, giving people a feeling of both righteousness and evil. He doesn't speak either, just a light glance at you can see through you as a person. Lin Nian has a kind of illusion that in front of him, all conspiracies and schemes have no escape. Inexplicably feeling a bit guilty, Lin Nian avoided his gaze and lowered his head. Director Gu was stunned for a moment, then quickly changed his tone and said, "Then follow the procedure. Xiao Zhao, you can sign a lease agreement for Comrade Lin Nian. Comrade, I'll give you 1 month to consider. If you go back on your word within 1 month, you can come to me anytime to cancel this contract. But 1 month later, I will arrange the house out, and if you want to go back on your word then you won't be able to do it." Lin Nian looked up and smiled again. She bowed to Director Gu and said, thank you, Director Gu. Don't worry, I won't back out. Chapter 7. Sandwich Gas. You are listening at novelfull.audio. She lent out the house for free, mainly to dig a pit for Zhang Cuifang and do a good deed along the way. If anyone dares to seize the house and refuse to give it to her in 5 years, she will have a way to reclaim it again. The clerk, Comrade Xiao Zhao, took out the oil-printed version of the rental contract and handed it to Lin Nian. After reviewing it, Lin Nian said to the client, "Director, could you add a clause to the contract that when the lease term expires in 5 years, the Housing Management Bureau will come forward to retrieve the house and return an intact vacant one to me?" "Sure. Xiao Zhao, add this one to her." Lin Nian was satisfied, and she happily left the Housing Management Bureau with a freshly made lease agreement. I didn't dare to look at Fu Qiushi too much at a glance. Fu Qiushi looked at her back, with the words guilty written on it. What is the little girl feeling guilty about? He chuckled low and followed up. Director Gu called out to him from behind, but he didn't stop. Huang Jiangwo went to find Director Zhang, who clearly had a bad attitude towards him and didn't listen to his explanation. He only said to let him go back to work. Huang Jiangwo was extremely irritable. At this moment, Zhang Cuifang came to her door again and said, "Old Huang, do you think this dead girl is really possessed by evil?" Huang Jiangwo had a dark face. He used to think that Zhang Cuifang, a foolish woman, was a good thing and easy to handle. The fact also proves this point. Since getting along with him, Zhang Cuifang has been obedient to him and has brought him many benefits. But now, he suddenly felt disgusted with Zhang Cuifang's foolishness. I really can't help you at all, and I'm his mother procrastinator. Speaking of Lin Nian, this girl used to be honest and numb like a quail. She changed her personality when she jumped back into the river. Huang Jiangwo didn't think it was evil, he thought someone should have been teaching her from behind. Who would be the person teaching her? Is it Zhang Haiyang? If it's Zhang Haiyang, then he can't take it lightly. You just follow what she says, and it's not like you, a damn, kowtow to her. What's so difficult for you to do? Zhang Cuifang couldn't believe her ears. She questioned Huang Jiangwo, "Old Huang, Lily is your own daughter. With such a strong temper, would you make her kowtow to Lin Nian's dead girl? She won't be able to bear it. You can't do this to Lily. So what do you want me to do?" Huang Jiangwo patted the table hard a few times. "Anyway, I don't care. I don't care what methods I use, I must coax this girl. If you can't even do this well and ruin my business, I'll divorce you. When the time comes, not to mention the wife of the branch factory director, you won't even have the title of the deputy factory director's wife." Obviously, Huang Jiangwo knew where Zhang Cuifang's dead end lay. When he said so, Zhang Cuifang had to go home in despair and talk to Huang Lily. However, when Huang Lily heard her say she wanted to kneel down and apologize to Lin Nian, she immediately exploded. She jumped up and shouted at Zhang Cuifang, "You can't think of it. As expected, it's my stepmother. She's so vicious that she made me kowtow to that slut Lin Nian. There's no way." Zhang Cuifang was extremely aggrieved. She couldn't do well on both sides and was trapped in the middle, making it difficult for her to die. It's all caused by Lin Nian, that dead girl. Lily, if you don't want anything else, you have to endure it just for the sake of going to the countryside. Besides, your father's promotion to factory director is also at a critical moment. If you don't coax Lin Nian well at this time, your father won't be able to explain it either. Lily, you just feel wronged and endure this time. Huang Lily pushed Zhang Cuifang away and looked at her with resentment. Why did I feel wronged? She ate and lived at my house, and went to the countryside for me. What's wrong? Why do I have to kowtow to her? Anyway, I don't care about this matter. After she finished speaking, she slammed the door and ran out, leaving Zhang Cuifang crying alone in her room. But she didn't dare to cry for too long either. Watching the sun set soon, she had to go buy groceries. We need to make delicious food to win over that debt-collecting bastard. I'm really suffocating. Zhang Cuifang cooked a big table of delicious dishes, and except for Huang Lili, Huang Jiangwo and his 2 sons all came back. The eldest son's name is Huang Hongbing, 2 years older than Huang Lili, and he was born to Huang Jiangwo and his deceased original wife. The little one is named Huang Hongwei, born by Zhang Cuifang and Huang Jiangwo. Lin Nian did not come back, and Huang Jiangwo asked the family to wait. The spoiled little son refused and caused a commotion. If Huang Jiangwo, who was already in a bad mood, grabbed him, it would be a beating. Zhang Cuifang went to protect her, but Huang Jiangwo refused and hit her several times. At home, it's like a chicken flying and a dog jumping. When Lin Nian returned, he happened to see this scene. She walked slowly to the coffee table, took an orange and slowly peeled it off. She sat down on the sofa, eating while watching Huang Jiangwo beat his wife and children with relish. Just like countless times before, Huang Jiangwo sat on the sofa, silently watching Zhang Cuifang fight the original owner. At this moment, Lin Nian felt an emotion slowly dissipating in his heart, perhaps it was the lingering resentment of the original owner. After finishing the oranges, Lin Nian bypassed the family of 4 and sat at the dining table, serving a bowl. First, have a bowl of chicken soup, tsk, it tastes pretty good. Trying other dishes, it has to be said that Zhang Cuifang's cooking skills are quite good. Unfortunately, the original owner only occasionally ate it once or twice. I never dare to extend my chopsticks normally. When I was a child, the original owner was really greedy. When no one at home stole a few pieces of meat, I was sued by Huang Lili. That night, Zhang Cuifang almost killed the original owner. Afterwards, the original owner no longer dared to eat meat. After Lin Nian had eaten and drunk enough, he got off the table and went to Huang Lili's room. He threw out her things and replaced them with the bedding on the bed of the original owner's cabin. After a little washing, he closed the door and went to bed. The noise outside is the best lullaby for her. Let's make a fuss. What a genius for falling out. The Huang family is in such a mess that neither Zhang Cuifang nor Huang Jiangwo has the heart to eat. After a while of calming down, Huang Lili returned. She couldn't enter the room by herself, so she kicked outside the door. Zhang Cuifang went to pull her, but Huang Lili scolded Zhang Cuifang and went to find her father Huang Jiangwo to cry. Huang Jiangwo was so agitated that his head was about to explode. He asked Huang Lili to hold on for a few days and return Lin Nian's room when she went to the countryside, but Huang Lili didn't do it and twisted him around. In the end, Huang Jiangwo slapped her in the face to calm her down. I warn you, if you continue to make trouble, go to the countryside for me tomorrow. He doesn't just love his daughter and son, he just has to make way for everything in front of his future. If it weren't for the future, why would he find a second married woman like Zhang Cuifang? He is a formal employee of a mechanical factory. Even if his wife died earlier, he would casually look for Huang Hua's daughter. Chapter 8. Mo Yanxi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, Lin Nian slept until he woke up naturally. When he opened the door, he found that Zhang Cuifang and Huang Jiangwo were both at home. She yawned and looked at them, only to see Zhang Cuifang walking up to her with a haggard face and a big smile on her face. She opened her handkerchief and revealed a pile of money inside. Nian Nian, this is the remaining 200 yuan. Take it and don't drop it. Mom used to be a bit strict with you, but it was all for your own good. You were born in October, and Mom loves you in her heart. Nian Nian, don't blame Mom, okay? Mom used to bear all the hardships with you alone. If it weren't for Uncle Huang's help, we wouldn't have been able to survive. You have to understand Mom. Huang Jiangwo also stood up and agreed, Nian Nian, Uncle Huang is usually busy with work and ignores you, causing you to suffer injustice at home. You Stop acting, you too. It's hard for you, and I'm sick too. Lin Nian interrupted Huang Jiangwo's words, mocking him. Uncle Huang was a low-level general worker back then. Because he married the widow of a martyr, Zhang Cuifang, the factory promoted you to the position of section chief, with a monthly salary increase of 10 yuan. Zhang Cuifang was also transferred from a general worker position to a union worker, and her salary increased by 1 level. When I mentioned you, the factory told you that the salary increase would be my living expenses. Later on, Zhang Cuifang held me and went to the factory leader, saying that I was old and spent more money. She also said that my father sacrificed for the country and that the factory should take care of his widow and children. In the factory, Uncle Huang was appointed as the workshop director again. Lin Nian, I don't owe you anything. It's you guys who owe me so much. Lin Nian didn't want to compromise with them, so he tore the fig leaf and made the couple's faces look very unpleasant. What do you want? Huang Jiangwo didn't expect Lin Nian to be so clear about these things, and he felt that it was Zhang Haiyang who said something to her later and taught something. He couldn't pretend anymore, so his tone was cold and his eyes were fixed on Lin Nian like they had been poisoned. Lin Nian chuckled lightly and said, I told Zhang Cuifang about my conditions yesterday. Why didn't she tell you? Lin Nian, I'm your mother. Zhang Cuifang was furious as she kept calling her name. My daughter, who had been obedient for many years, suddenly became uncontrollable like a hedgehog. Zhang Cuifang's heart was filled with anger, rushing straight to the sky. Lin Nian simply ignored her and only looked at Huang Jiangwo. Huang Jiangwo frowned and said, Your mother has already given you the money, but it's not possible to have Lily kneel and kowtow to you. Huang Lily said last night that if she dared to force her to kneel, she would go to her biological father's office and bump her head to death. Huang Jiangwo knew that Huang Lily was trying to scare him, but in terms of promotion, he dared not let any unexpected events occur. Lin Nian shrugged and said, It's okay if you don't kneel. It's 300 yuan, not a two-price deal. You can pay with one hand and settle with the other. Zhang Cuifang widened her eyes and exclaimed, I've already given you 500, but you still need 300. Why don't you go grab it? Lin Nian smiled and said, 400. Zhang Cuifang raised her hand and was about to hit, You dead girl turned upside down. Enough. Huang Jiangwo roared angrily. Zhang Cuifang is such a woman who can't do anything, she's dragging her feet and ranking first. A little girl can't even hold her back, she's just a waste. Give her 300 yuan. Huang Jiangwo glared at Zhang Cuifang, who was really suffocated. We've already given her 500 yuan. Lin Nian turned around and went to the stove to find something to eat. She found eggs and boiled 2 poached eggs. When she saw chicken soup, she used it to cook a bowl of noodles. It's quite interesting to take out the noodles and watch the couple argue while eating. In the end, Zhang Cuifang compromised and took her passbook out to withdraw money. After Zhang Cuifang withdrew the money and gave it to Lin Nian, Huang Jiangwo said angrily, We have all met your requirements. Tonight, you can come with me to visit Director Zhang's house. Lin Nian pointed to the patched clothes he was wearing and asked Huang Jiangwo, Uncle Huang, are you sure I'm going to wear these clothes? Zhang Cuifang took a cold breath and said, Damn you, I gave you the money. Don't you know how to buy it yourself? Lin Nian shook his head and said, No, I think this outfit is pretty good. Huang Jiangwo glared fiercely at Zhang Cuifang and said, What are you still staring at? Bring the cloth ticket and money, take her to the department store to buy it. Zhang Cuifang. What harm did she do? Taking Lin Nian to the department store, Lin Nian brutally slaughtered Zhang Cuifang and bought clothes, shoes, and socks all over. Comrade, please give me 2 pairs of shoes, 2 pairs of shoes, 2 sets of clothes, and 2 sets of clothes. Zhang Cuifang, who is responsible for giving money and tickets, is almost vomiting blood. Huang Jiangwo only knew how to open his mouth and didn't give her a penny. In just 2 days, she gave Lin Nian 800 yuan, and now she has spent more than 100 yuan. It's only a little 1,000 yuan and it's gone. 1,000 yuan. 3 years of salary for ordinary workers. How many years can an ordinary family save up to 1,000 yuan? Zhang Cuifang wished she could strangle Lin Nian and deeply regretted letting her go to the countryside on behalf of Huang Lili. With so much money, half of her children would be pushed out by her parents to go to the countryside on behalf of Lili. And even if Lin Nian doesn't go to the countryside, she can still marry Lin Nian out, so that she can also sell what she wants to seize. This dead girl wouldn't have become so tricky, it would have left her gasping for breath. It's no use regretting or getting angry now, Zhang Cuifang. She could only comfort herself, endure it for a while, and endure until the lowly girl went to the countryside. When she gets the house and adds Yang Dongliang's remittance, her days will still be smooth. Zhang Cuifang's longing was for a house, completely unaware that Lin Nian had already dug a big hole waiting for her to jump. After buying clothes, Lin Nian didn't go to Director Zhang's house with Huang Jiangwo at night, citing that his facial injury had not healed yet. He waited for another 2 days. This reason makes Huang Jiangwo unable to refuse. Hold back. Huang Jiangwo, who had no place to spread his anger, was so restless that he became extremely anxious. The harder it gets for the Huang family, the happier Lin Nian becomes. She eats and drinks at the Huang family, and when she has time, she goes to the waste collection station to find all the textbooks for middle and high school. Then I went to Xinhua bookstore to see if there were any useful learning materials, and bought 2 new great quotes. It's currently 7 or 3 years, and there are still 4 years left before I can take the college entrance exam. Lin Nian is very clear about her path, and she never thought about doing business in this era or the early stages of reform and opening up, let alone whether she is skilled in this area. Being caught doing business in the black market at this time is not for fun. In the early stages of reform and opening up, especially during the years when educated youth returned to cities, there were too many unemployed young people and many unstable factors in society. Doing business requires transporting goods from north to south, and the road is very dangerous. The probability of a big man being robbed or stolen is very high, not to mention that she is a woman. She doesn't have space like the female protagonist, so when things are placed in space, they are safe and secure. The key issue is that it is very dangerous for a woman to run alone on the road. Once she is turned into a mountain, her life will be hopeless. Don't think about it. That miserable life made Lin Nian's scalp tingle just thinking about it. The college entrance examination is the safest path. Chapter 9 has been thoroughly investigated. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Choosing to go to the countryside and go to the village of the former owner's grandmother, Lin Nian actually had considerations. She could not use the money of her original father Lin Changjing with peace of mind, and ignored Lin Changjing's mother who was deeply in trouble. The book says that while Yang Dongliang sent living expenses to the original owner, he also sent living expenses of 20.30 yuan and some tickets to the original owner's grandmother every month. But these money and tickets were all embezzled by the village captain. The original owner's grandmother fell ill, and the family went to the captain's house to borrow money without even begging for a penny. So much so that the elderly were dragged to death by illness and pain. Later, the uncle and uncle of the original owner learned the truth and rushed to the captain's house with their sons, killing their entire family. Uncle, and several sons were all sentenced to death and executed by firing squad. The women in the family either committed suicide or died of illness if they couldn't bear the blow. The whole family died clean and sound. Therefore, all the resources and property of Lin Changjing belonged to the female protagonist without any outflow. When Lin Nian was reading, he was still roast, which was really the growth of the female lead is based on the sacrifice of others. How many lives? The author is also ruthless enough. Lin Nian cannot watch the tragedy of the original owner's family happen without stopping them. As for whether or not to recognize each other when it comes to time, it depends on whether the original owner's grandmother and her family are worth it for her to recognize them. Lin Nian dare not have too high expectations in this regard. Lin Nian went home with his textbook, but was stopped by Lu Guixiang halfway. "Nian Nian, come over quickly." Lu Guixiang waved at her under the tree on the street. Lin Nian quickly ran over and greeted her with a smile, "Aunt Lu." Lu Guixiang tilted her head towards her and said, "Let's go home with Aunt Lu. Aunt Lu will cook delicious food for you at noon." Lin Nian shook her head and said, "If I don't go to Aunt Lu, I still have to go home. If I don't go back, my mother will be anxious," she said with a perfectly frightened expression on her face. Lu Guixiang originally wanted to say, "I'm afraid of nothing." But thinking about the advice from Lao Zhao when he was a child, the more it was at this time, the more he needed to stabilize Huang Jiangwo and Zhang Cuifang, so he swallowed the words he almost blurted out. "Let's find a secluded place to talk." After she finished speaking, she pushed her bicycle to lead the way, and Lin Nian followed her to a secluded alley. Lu Guixiang set up her bicycle and took out a small bundle wrapped in a handkerchief from her arms. She opened her handkerchief and revealed a thick stack of tickets inside. "I have already completed the work matter and will wait for you to sign it. These are 500 kilograms of national grain tickets, 10 kilograms of sugar tickets, 20 industrial tickets, 20-meter cloth tickets, 50 kilograms of cotton tickets. Red Star Machinery Factory is a key state-owned enterprise, and the treatment of its employees is excellent. A regular job position in other factories can sell for 300 to 400 yuan, while a position in Red Star Machinery Factory can sell for at least 800 yuan. Lu Guixiang did not deceive Lin Nian at a young age in this regard, not only because Zhao Xingli was in a crucial period of competition with Huang Jiangwo, but also because she somewhat pitied Lin Nian. Lin Nian collected the ticket she handed over and thanked her softly, "Thank you, Aunt Lu." Lu Guixiang smiled and said, "Thank you, thank you. This position has been a great help to her. It was given to the leader of her eldest son's unit in exchange for his promotion. Speaking of which, she should also thank Lin Nian. By the way, Lao Zhao has already investigated the matter you mentioned and requested the Postal and Telecommunications Bureau to provide a stamped list. Comrade Yang Dongliang, your father's comrade in arms, has been sending your mother your living expenses since the year your father sacrificed himself. Over the years, he has sent a total of 8,220 yuan, and there are countless types of tickets. Nian Nian, you're not a procrastinator. You don't owe the Huang family either." In order to investigate this matter, Zhao Xingli and his wife also put in tremendous effort. They sent out a lot of cigarettes, alcohol, and tea, and their efforts paid off. They spent several days searching for the stubs of the remittance receipts from the past few years, but surprisingly, they didn't miss them for a month and finally found them all. When Zhao Xingli brought the proof home to show to Lu Guixiang couldn't believe her eyes. At that time, she felt that Zhang Cuifang was sick and had earned so much money relying on Lin Nian, but it was not good for this daughter at all. "I really eat someone else's food, and even think their food is spoiled." Lin Nian actually knows the real data, because there is more written in the book. After all, there are still a few years before the appearance of the original owner's father Lin Chongsheng. Before the appearance of the original owner's father, Yang Dongliang had been sending to Zhang Cuifang. But she still looked shocked, then her eyes began to turn red, her lips began to tremble, and she choked up almost speechless. "Aunt Lu. What you said. Is what you said true?" Lu Guixiang couldn't help but soften her heart when she saw Lin Nian's battered expression. She hugged Lin Nian tightly and patted her back, sighing, "Aunt Lu didn't lie to you. If you want to see it, come back with me and I'll show it to you." As soon as her words fell, Lin Nian collapsed and burst into tears in her arms, crying as she recounted the grievances of the original owner. "My mother said I was a drag on the oil bottle, and Uncle Huang had already done his utmost to earn money to support me. Don't don't let me eat meat. Every morning, I have to get up to make breakfast for my family. After porridge is cooked, I have to peel the boiled eggs into congee. After they get up, the eggs will not be cold. When serving them food, I can only watch the eggs in the pot and swallow my saliva. I use a rice spoon to stir-fry the eggs in the pot, going back and forth. It seems like I've eaten them even if I stir them up a bit. I envy my mother for always buying beautiful clothes for my sister. I think it's my turn when my sister can't wear them, but no, my mother will take them to my cousin sisters in my uncle's house when my sister can't wear them, and my grandmother doesn't want my clothes. Mom said, I'm a drag on the oil bottle. It would be great if Uncle Huang could take care of me. I can't think of anything else. If you want to step on it, you'll have to step on the person all at once. Then she patted her buttocks and walked away. When the sky and earth were far away, Zhang Cuifang just wanted to find someone to retaliate against her, but there was nothing she could do. Lin Nian cried out loud about how the original owner was poor and beaten, leaving Lu Guixiang stunned. You silly girl, they are bullying you so much. Why don't you know how to run out and find someone? Lin Nian sobbed and said, when I was a child, I couldn't bear being beaten and ran out. Later, the aunt of the Women's Federation of the steel rolling plant came to find my mother. My mother said I stole someone else's things, and she hit me. When those aunties left, my mother locked me in the house for 3 days without giving me food or water. Later on, I didn't dare to run outside. Lu Guixiang understood that the child was young and afraid. Besides, it's someone else's household chores. People in the factory criticize and educate them, but they can't take Lin Nian away. As soon as the people in the factory leave and the door closes, Lin Nian will suffer even more severe beating. What a sin! Aunt Lu, last time I mustered up the courage to find you, it was also because I was about to go to the countryside. After going to the countryside, I might never come back in my lifetime, so I dared to come to you. After speaking, she took 2 steps back, rolled up her sleeves, and showed Lu Guixiang the deep and shallow scars on her arm. After reading it, Lu Guixiang angrily cursed, animal. How could Zhang Cuifang take action? Where's Huang Jiangwo? Has Huang Jiangwo ever made any moves? Chapter 10. The Big Bad. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Nian shook his head and said, no, it's just that every time Uncle Huang gets upset, he scolds my mom for teaching me how to behave improperly, and then he goes out. When he goes out, my mother will lock me up in the cabin and beat me up. After my mom finishes hitting me, he will go home and scold her, saying my mom shouldn't hit me. But my mother promised well at the time, she will still hit me next time. The fragrance of Lu Gui made her chest heave violently, and she said to Lin Nian, Huang Jiangwo is the worst. That dog is not a human. The bad guy was fooled by Zhang Cuifang, you thought he was a good person. Not really. The original owner didn't just think that their stepfather Huang Jiangwo was the best. Don't worry, Nian Nian. Uncle Zhao said it and will go talk to the old factory manager about this matter later. Lin Nian quickly begged Lu Guixiang, Aunt Lu, I just want to know the truth. My mother is not easy either, and besides, they have indeed raised me. Pooh. Lu Guixiang took Lin Nian's hand and turned her head to spit fiercely. Nian Nian, you can't be soft-hearted. How could there be a reason to bully you with your money? Besides, the Red Star factory is so big that a martyr's child can't be raised anymore. If Zhang Cuifang didn't want you back then and didn't talk about others, I would have raised you, Aunt Lu. More than 8,000 yuan, you have left over even if you raise 10. Besides, isn't she not giving you money when you go to the countryside? We happened to take this matter and ask her to take out the money. Lin Nian lowered his head and whispered, Uncle Huang came back a few days ago and scolded my mother. My mother gave me 300 yuan and even cooked chicken soup for me every day. Lu Guixiang patted her thigh and said, oh, hello. They're fooling you. You don't know, that day the ocean ran into you being chased and beaten by Zhang Cuifang and Huang Lili. Huang Jiangwo went to explain to director Zhang for a long time. Under Lu Guixiang's earnest persuasion, Lin Nian finally reluctantly agreed to expose this matter, but she demanded to wait until she left before speaking again. In fact, with Lu Guixiang, Lin Niantong disagrees that both she and Lao Zhao will expose this matter to the old factory director. But Lin Nian was too miserable, and she moved with compassion, which was why she was willing to persuade her. Tell this little girl not to be so foolish from now on, let Zhang Cuifang coax her back with a few words. Seeing that it was time to cook at noon, Lin Nian asked Lu Guixiang to leave first, and she stayed in the alley to wait before leaving. Lu Guixiang left, and Lin Nian took out a handkerchief to wipe away her tears. The expression on her face and demeanor also changed. Where could she still look half pitiful? She was about to walk out when she saw a young man walking into the alley, looking at her meaningfully. Still an acquaintance. The Housing Management Bureau has seen a young man who helped her say a few words at that time. Lin Nian is a bit awkward. Her previous crying and pretending to be weak wouldn't have been exposed by this person, would she? When she was at a loss, the young man hurried towards her and grabbed her hand, pulling it deep into the alley. He lowered his head and said in a suppressed voice, "Lin Nian, I'm Fu Qiushi. I need your help now." Fu Qiushi had already completed the task, but later discovered another wave of spies. He sneaked into the lair of these spies and stole the core secrets they had stolen. He was being chased by the spies and unexpectedly encountered Lin Nian while running away. What magical fate is this? Since he encountered it, he wouldn't hesitate. He leaned Lin Nian against the corner of the wall, took off his coat and let her hold him. Then he reached out to grab her waist, clasped her head with one hand, pressed her small face against his chest, and turned over again, letting Lin Nian outside and inside. Don't shout. You can cry. Cry louder. At this moment, Lin Nian's mind was buzzing, with the clean and refreshing scent of the man lingering around his nose, and his slightly faster heartbeat in his ear. Didn't you cry pretty well just now? The man's deep magnetic voice burrowed into his ears, and Lin Nian's face instantly turned red. I helped you once, and you have to help me once, that's fair. Be good, cry quickly. He gently rubbed Lin Nian's head, like the little fox flower his mother gave him when he was a child. Hurry up, be good. Fu Qiushi couldn't help but rub her head again. The little girl's hair turned yellow, but it was very clean and soft, making people want to touch it. Lin Nian, who was treated like a kitten, said, Thank you very much. Quick. Look over there. There's movement over there. Find that bastard and kill him directly. At this moment, there was a noisy sound of footsteps coming from outside the alley. The sound was getting closer and closer, and Lin Nian dared not delay. He hurriedly cried loudly, It's all you, you bully people. I hate you. You let go of me. Your mother looks down on me and shouldn't mock me in front of so many people. I shouldn't have gone to your house with you. Who cares about your house? I won't get married. Woo-woo. Get out of here. I won't marry you anymore. As she spoke, she even kicked Fu Qiushi twice. Fu Qiushi. The little girl's strength is quite strong, kicking is quite painful. That's right, you can't just use the paws that the kitten has exposed as they can still bleed if scratched. The people chasing outside looked left and right, and there was only a pair of wild mandarin ducks making a fuss in the alley, so they turned around and hurriedly ran away. I'm telling you, we're done. You let go of me. Don't pester me in the future. Lin Nian struggled and kicked Fu Qiushi twice. Lin Nian was very nervous. She said, Oh my goodness, isn't this a scene from movies and TV dramas? Why did she meet her? Exciting. I don't know if she acted well or if she fooled those people. Just as Lin Nian wanted to add more acting, Fu Qiushi let go of her. Lin Nian was taken aback for a moment, her eyelashes trembling with tears. In a blink of an eye, tears began to fall, one after another, pitiful. For a moment, Fu Qiushi was lost in thought. His Adam's apple moved up and down, and he looked away and said, "They're gone. I'll take you home." Lin Nian hurriedly said, "No need, I'll go back by myself." Fu Qiushi pulled back Lin Nian who had left, but the little girl didn't stand firm and unexpectedly bumped into his arms. She stood up in a panic. Fu Qiushi's Adam's apple moved up and down, and his voice was slightly hoarse. "It's not safe, there are people around them." After speaking, without hesitation, he quickly took Lin Nian's hand and walked out, crossing several alleys before releasing her hand on the street. "Lin Nian, your father's comrade in arms Yang Dongliang, Uncle Yang asked me to come and see you. I have an urgent matter to attend to, so I'll leave first. I'll come back to find you later." Lin Nian looked at Fu Qiushi's fast-running figure, and a series of question marks popped up in her heart. Fu Qiushi. Lying trough. He is actually Fu Qiushi. I didn't even react earlier. Fu Qiushi. The ultimate villain. In the book, it is said that Fu Qiushi, who has a good hand, is a child who comes out of the courtyard. His father is the captain of a certain defense area, and his grandfather is a mechanical engineer who returned from studying in Germany, a national treasure level figure. He himself is also very capable, but unfortunately, he has developed a rebellious personality. It is common for him to disobey discipline and contradict leaders, and he repeatedly violates discipline. He always goes against the male advocate for the ocean, and ultimately makes a major mistake during the mission and is expelled from the team. Fu Qiushi, who was fired, completely unleashed himself and engaged in all kinds of fights and brawls. He led a group of fox friends to do business and was always at odds with the female protagonist. The outcome of opposing the male and female leads can be imagined, and Fu Qiushi also died tragically afterwards. At a young age, they rebelled against each other and were eventually shot in the head by a sniper for kidnapping their stepmother. At the end of his life, there is a summary in the book about him. Fu Qiushi was a thorn in the head when he was in the courtyard. It was precisely because he caused trouble every day and could not be disciplined that his father threw him into the team, hoping that the team could hone him well. It can be seen that some people are bad from the root, no matter where they are placed, their fate is already predetermined. Lin Nian is not calm anymore. No, has Fu Qiushi come to find the original owner? It's not written in the book. Is it because the original owner didn't make a scene like her, that Fu Qiushi didn't discover her true situation, so this section was omitted? Lin Nian returned with a stomach full of question marks and only found himself holding Fu Qiushi's coat in his arms when he entered the family area. She quickly stuffed her clothes into the cloth bag she was carrying books in. Returning to the Huang family, Huang Jiangwo and Zhang Cuifang were both at home. As soon as they saw her enter, their faces were covered in smiles. Huang Jiangwo stood up and greeted her with a smile. "Nian Nian has come back. Go wash your hands quickly. Today, your mother made another big table of dishes you like." Lin Nian twitched his lips. These two of them were like amnesia. I don't remember. They had already torn their faces apart. "I will do what I promised you." Huang Jiangwo smiled and said, "That's good. You should behave well when reciting at night." Lin Nian ignored the couple and went back to bed after lunch. As a result, he closed his eyes and his mind was filled with Fu Qiushi's overly handsome face. He carries a hint of both righteousness and evil in his body, and once his deep pool-like eyes meet, it makes people involuntarily want to immerse themselves in exploring what is hidden beneath the deep pool water. Ah! Lin Nian, realizing that she might have been tempted, rolled around on the bed with the blanket in her arms. She reminded herself in her heart, "Lin Nian, you're a bit of a success. He's a big villain, even more dangerous than the male lead. You can't get involved.